Salutations everyone, and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. E3 was this week and, well, nothing mattered. Show's over. Now, obviously there's a lot to cover with E3, but what mattered, we're only going to talk about what mattered. That means nothing about VR, because that's a lot of E3, and guess what? That stuff doesn't matter. Who's gonna buy that overpriced nonsense? That's just not the future of gaming. So, in no particular order, let's go over E3, except E3 kind of disappointed a little bit this year in the fact that there were no surprises. It was just, alright, let's follow up on everything we announced last week, or last month, or everything that got leaked the day or the week before. There were very, very few surprises during the entirety of E3, but there's still a lot to talk about and get excited for. The upcoming Legend of Zelda for Wii U and NX game has a title, and it is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Open world, big stuff, you find weapons, they have durability, you find food to eat, and you eat it. Link can jump for the first time in Legend of Zelda games history, and he can climb walls, and it looks beautiful, and I think is going to draw in more than just Zelda fans. There's going to be no telling on, is it going to be better on the Wii U? Is it going to be better on the NX? Are they going to come out at the same time? Probably not. Probably be coming out on the Wii U first, but that's just speculation. We do not have a release date, but they also showed us some new amiibos, the Archer Link and the Rider Link, and the giant mech amiibo thingy, and it also has compatibility with the Midna Wolf Link amiibo, and it just looks like a really gorgeous game that's going to be a ton of fun, no matter who you are. I mean, obviously if you don't own a Wii U, which is a lot of you, but you're missing out, because it's going to be cool. Insomniac gave us a little bit more information on Injustice 2, including a couple of new characters in Supergirl and Atrocitus, and different transitions. There's now like an armor gear system that, you know, boost up your stats. Of course, there will be an even playing field for both online and like competitive play, if you ever see this on like a big fighting tournament like EVO or anything like that. So, but it does have cosmetic changes as well as like ability changes and bonuses and stuff like that. That will be coming out next year. Mass Effect Andromeda was very light on the content, but I think it's exactly what I expected from the game. BioWare wasn't really hyping much. It's a long way from release, so I figured we'll just get another trailer and, you know, a little bit of things to talk about, and that is exactly what we got. We didn't get gameplay or a release date or pricing or special editions or anything like that, but we got to see Asari that smiled, which people went crazy for. We got to see a Krogan, the first non-council member race to be confirmed to exist in Mass Effect Andromeda. Beforehand, we only knew that there was going to be Solarians and Asari and Turians in this game, obviously humans as well. We also know that the protagonist is this chick, and her last name is Ryder, as we figured out from the very first teaser trailer, because the dog tag said Ryder in the corner, and he had a feeling it was going to be a female, because you know, everybody played a female Shepard in the first Mass Effect trilogy, and B, Alan Shepard was the shout out for the John Shepard name, and Ryder, it's pretty easy, it's a tribute to Sally Ride, the first female in space. So it wasn't a mystery, but we get to see what she looks like, and the fact that her last name is Ryder, so everyone's like, yeah, fill in the blank. What you want your first name of your new protagonist to be? Titanfall 2 got a release date, October 28th of this year on the Xbox One, PS4, and PC. It looks incredibly similar to the first game. There will be a campaign, but graphically, it looks exactly the same. Gameplay-wise, very, very, very similar. There's going to be more content in this game, including a campaign, which people were mad about. I don't know why people get mad about when there's not being campaign in their multiplayer games. It's like, you'll play it once for 5 hours, and then you'll do nothing but multiplayer. So it's like, you obviously don't know what you want, because the data doesn't reflect what you say. And also, you know, these games are multiplayer games. That's why you buy them. That's why you play them. But nonetheless, there's going to be this Titan that, like, you know, picks you up, and he's like, it has all these protocols. It's weird. It doesn't look fantastic, and it doesn't look all that different from the first game, but if you had a positive experience with the first game, you'll probably like this game, and now it's going to be on not just the Xbox One, but the PS4 as well. We got to see a lot of footage of Battlefield 1, dynamic weather with fog and rain, changes throughout gameplay. That Frostbite engine makes all the environment being destructible and beautiful looking. The particle effects are a step up. Just the atmosphere is very, very nice. Having this setting in World War I, definitely completely different, so it's hard to compare it to other shooters because they're just so different with the different weapons that we see and the different vehicles, like the behemoths and the trucks and the biplanes and the zeppelins, which looks like more of a like an environmental destructible, like you could probably pilot it kind of thing, but not really have that big of an impact. But when it goes down, it looks gorgeous and beautiful, which Battlefield is known for, that amazing destructive environment and such a gorgeous engine. So I think we could definitely expect to see more of that awesomeness from Battlefield 1. No word on a beta. There's gonna be one. The last two Battlefields have one, and that's just the thing that everybody's doing. But we got to see a lot of things. Presentation has been improved. It of course looks gorgeous and looks to be a lot of fun. You know, different weapons that maybe some people might not be used to, precursors to guns that we're used to in World War II shooters, and stuff like that. All the different kinds of equipment might not, translate perfectly to the more modern shooters when it comes to the type of equipment and technology you're privy to, but most of those niches seem to be fulfilled in the roles that they play in other shooters. Looks like those will be fulfilled in Battlefield 1 as well. With such a huge scale and a ton of people in lobbies and in games and on screen at once, it could definitely be a different kind of Battlefield to fight in. We got an update on upcoming Star Wars games. No official announcements or titles or really all that much footage outside of some concept work and some computer stuff. But they're showing us that, hey, we are working on Star Wars games. Obviously, they're earmarked way far in the future, so there's really nothing to show, but you know, we're working on them. So we know that DICE and Motive are working on a Battlefront game for 2017. We know that Visceral and Amy Hennig are working on their title for 2018. And they showed, a couple of seconds of footage there. It looks like it takes place during the Ridge Tridge era. And Respawn Entertainment is working on a third-person action-adventure game that will be taking place in a different era of the Star Wars multiverse. So, a lot to look forward to because Battlefront was amazing. They did show some weird VR stuff that nobody really is going to care about for Battlefront. But hey, we have DLCs coming out and a new Battlefront coming out 2017. And Visceral, Amy Hennig, not going to disappoint. It already looks gorgeous, and hopefully we learn something about it next E3. As we already knew, and then was leaked a couple days beforehand, Microsoft has two new consoles, the Xbox S, the slim one, that will be coming out later this year at the $400 price point, and is going to be slimmer, more powerful, have 4K support, and there's no power brick, has going to be a different, slimmer controller with grip. So, an upgrade for some people if they want it, or if they may want to wait till a Scorpio. That will be coming out next fall in 2017, and that is going to support, of course, 4K and 8 teraflops of power, as opposed to the 1.84 of the current PS4 and the 1.31 of the current Xbox One. So that is a huge leap and bound. It is an absolute monster, and looks like could be a gorgeous thing to play games at. Of course, all future Xbox games will work on all of the Xboxes, all 3 of them that will be eventually out, but they announced, over a year beforehand that the Scorpio will be coming out so that developers can work on taking advantage of its capabilities right now. Bit of a mic drop on the hardware side of things, even though they didn't show a lot of software to give people reasons to buy the hardware, but hey, that's a hell of an upgrade, both with the Slim and with the Scorpio, and that's pretty cool, expensive stuff. People were gonna flip their shit if they did not see The Last Guardian at Sony's presser at E3, and they were not disappointed. October 25th, the game will finally be out, and people will be able to play it. Like a physical thing that they can play with, and it's there, and it exists. So, a lot of people are happy. And yeah, that's kind of surprising, but we all saw it coming. Hideo Kojima came out and dropped us a new trailer on the game that we knew he was working on something, and that, he's free from Konami and all of that drama, and that, Sony has him under their wing now. So he showed the trailer to the new game, Dead Standing, with Norman Reedus from the canceled Silent Hills game. I don't know what it is. Nobody does, except for probably Hideo Kojima and, a couple of people working on the project. It looks really pretty, if you can call this weird thing pretty. We don't know if it's like a spiritual successor to something that he's worked on in the past. We don't know if it's going to be scary. We don't know what genre it's going to be, but it's a Hideo Kojima game, so it's probably going to be pretty good, and people are probably going to buy it. We got to see another trailer for Detroit, the game that will be coming out next year that looks gorgeous. We saw Kara from the first trailer, but in this trailer we got a different person that looks like we're going to be taking control of, Connor, and there's a big emphasis on choice in the game and all the different kinds of outcomes that can happen. From one instance, they showed Connor, a robot, as a police mediator between other robots that have been deviant and doing bad things. So looks like there's a huge emphasis on choice. The game looks really good. We didn't get to see, a lot of possible gameplay mechanics, but it looks really pretty and it looks very interesting. The fact that we're going to have multiple characters to play, who knows if it's just these two or if it's going to be more than that, but it has my interest, and you should check out the trailer because it looks like it could be quite different. So another thing that they showed that we were already spoiled of a long time ago was a new God of War game that's called God of War. And it's got a boy Kratos sporting a beard, taking on the Norse gods this time instead of those Greek ones because he killed them all. Looks pretty. They showed some gameplay of that with a son, teaching him how to hunt. Of course, looks pretty. It's a God of War game. It's going to be good. And we got different badasses to kill now because we got a beard, I guess. One of the few surprises from E3 was Sony's reveal of their new game Days Gone, developed by the studio Sony Bend, which made the best PSP and PS Vita games of all time. So it was really exciting to finally hear what Sony Bend was working on. And it's another survival zombie game, but it's open world, a much bigger emphasis on defense than attack. They're also fast zombies, which we haven't seen as much of in the zombie genre, which has been very, very saturated and overdone in a lot of people's eyes. But hey, if the game and the gameplay is good, I don't think anyone's going to really care, because people still love zombies, and this one looks different. The movement of all of these fast zombies, like tons of them, in a way that we haven't seen in games before, just looks cool. And while we did get to see, a decent amount of gameplay, we don't know exactly what kind of structure the gameplay is going to have. We're this biker dude with some bad memories out in the wilderness trying to survive the zombie apocalypse, I guess, because that's the only kind of apocalypse that happens nowadays. So yeah, it's probably going to be a pretty good game, but a lot of people a little hungover on the zombies. And speaking of zombies, Dead Rising 4, which was leaked by GameStop, a week earlier, we got to see a ton of footage. It is Frank West, it is Willamette, Colorado, and it is a sequel. It is not a prequel, or that'd be weird, or a remake of the first game. So it takes place, I'm guessing, after Dead Rising 3, 2 as well, probably. At the very least, after Dead Rising 2 Off the Record, which was the last time we saw Frank West. And it looks fantastic, gorgeous, a different billion ways to kill zombies in the most over-the-top ways possible. There's this, new mech suit that you can get in, and all of these crazy heavy weapons and different gory ways to kill zombies. Of course, we got these military dudes that we gotta fuck up as well. And just a gory, fantastic little way to knock out zombies in a not-so-serious way, and by the hundreds. It was super duper fun to do that in Dead Rising 3, and Dead Rising 4 looks even prettier, and looks to have even more mayhem, which is tough to do, and I'm excited. And it will be an Xbox and PC exclusive, but only for 1 year. So we will have a Dead Rising game on a PlayStation platform just a year later after people stopped caring as much. March 7th is when Ghost Recon Wildlands comes out, even though it was supposed to come out like this March, but, you know, that would have clashed with the Division, and maybe they wanted to add more content or change things, or I don't know. But we got to see a lot of footage from that game, and when you compare it to what we saw from the Division a year ago, we can kind of see what isn't exactly going to be in the game, what's going to be cut, what's going to be different, but what's going to be similar, because it is, you know, Ubisoft and Tom Clancy game, and it's going to have similar kind of gunplay, but open world like Far Cry. They said the biggest open world that Ubisoft has made for any of their games, so that's quite exciting. Of course, we're going to have vehicles and factions and all kinds of different quests, so it's going to be interesting to see how big it is, how the online multiplayer co-op is going to work. It's going to be an adversarial thing, how much content there's actually going to be, and how fun it's going to be. Each of these could go either way, so they could have a big one on their hands, or just another Tom Clancy game. Any Hooting the Blowfish, that is what mattered this E3 week on What Mattered. Hope you all enjoyed. If you want to hear what matters in the future, hit the subscribe button. One of these comes out every single Saturday. Hope you all enjoyed. Leave your comments below what you thought about what I covered or didn't cover, and I'll see you next time.